How to help your children build credit and without a bank account. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode at NOVARISE Invest, your channel for financial education. Today we're going to talk about building credit, but not just any credit, but helping your children build their credit history. I know some of you probably started off later on in their lifetime, and you probably wish you could have had the chance to build credit in your younger years. I know I wish I had that. And so what we're going to do today is to go over some of the tips that you can do to help your children build credit at a very young age and without even having to wait until they turned 18 years old. So let's get started. So the way you're going to help your children is through a practice called adding a authorized user, okay? And I just want to highlight having an authorized user doesn't necessarily mean just for your kids, right? You can actually implement the same strategy for your spouse, for your parents, for any close family members, or even close friends that you want to help. So now, back to the concept of an authorized user. What is an authorized user? It's simply a user, right, that you're authorizing to have access to your credit card account, okay? This is not to be confused with a joint account, all right? What's the main difference between the two? Well, when you have a joint account, that means people have equal power. Whoever's part of that bank account will have equal access, will have equal power to either close the account or to add new members or to withdraw money, yada, yada, you name it, right? So that's not what we're doing today. What we're doing is just simply taking the name of those people you want to help, in this case, your children, and just simply add it as an authorized user. That means that you will still have the power over how they get to handle the account. You can close the account at any time, you can add them, you can remove them, and so on, right? So user, that means you are the owner, okay? Now, before we talk about any strategies and stuff like that, it is very important that you keep one thing in mind. And the most important point here, before you even consider adding anyone to your account as an authorized user, is that you have to have a strong credit, okay? Because this strategy is meant for you to help others. And if you have poor credit, that means you could be dragging them along with you, right? So what is considered good credit? I will say a minimum of 720 in your FICO score or above, right? You have to have at least that in order to help people out, right? Remember, you're adding them onto your account because you want to help them build a good and strong credit history. But if you have anything lower than a 720, chances are you're actually impacting them in a negative way, and you don't want to do that, right? You want to help them build that credit. Okay, now that we got that out of the way the structure will look like, just to give you a visual, let's just say this is your account, right? So this is you. You are the account holder. And then under your account, once again, you want to add authorized user that you want to help out. So let's say on one side, you're adding your son, and maybe over here, you want to help your mom. Maybe she just moved to the States, she's from abroad, and she understands the importance of it, but maybe she doesn't have the capabilities of like starting from scratch and building up a credit history, and you want to help her out, right? So that's in essence how you do this, right? So that's how it will look. So that means they're going to be under you, and they're going to be accessing your credit line as well. Now, there are two ways to make this work, right? The first one is the easiest one and the one with the least amount of headaches, and that's just simply adding those authorized users to your account and receiving the credit cards activated, but never giving them the credit card. So they're just simply add-ons to your account. So whatever good behavior you're having, for example, paying the credit cards on time or keeping your credit utilization under a certain percentage, all of that, it's gonna help them, right? And the way it works is that once you add your authorized users into your credit card account, the bank will report the credit behaviors to the credit bureaus, right? So they're going to report yours and they're going to report your son's and your mom's. Not every bank does that. So before you consider adding anyone to your credit card as an authorized user, you should call with your bank and make sure that they are indeed reporting their credit history to the credit bureaus. Otherwise, it will defeat the purpose of this exercise, okay? So once again, just to recap, the easiest way to help them is just simply to add them into your account as authorized user, but never give them access to that credit card. That's one. Now, the second way to do this, and this is the one that's going to take the most work, but you will eventually create a win-win situation for everybody, not just you, but also for those you're trying to help. So let's just draw the diagram again. So this is you as the account holder, and you have a credit line of $4,000, right? And then under you, you want to add your son as an authorized user, same thing as your mom. And this is where the fun begins, right? So after you added them to your account and you have received the credit cards, you proceed to handing the credit cards over to them, right? But before you do that, the most important thing you need to do is to sit down with them and explain them the importance of building a strong credit. You need to explain them that they should keep their credit card usage under a certain amount and that they always have to pay on time and stuff like that, because otherwise whatever behavior they do could end up impacting you, meaning whatever bad behavior they do with the credit card that you have provided to them could end up impacting you. So what do I mean by that? So let's say, for example, you have your credit card at $4,000 once again, and you agree that you're going to give them access to $200 in each card, right? So $200 for your son and $200 for your mom. Unless you have an American Express, the only way to do this is manual. Amex is the only credit card that allows you to set in the system a maximum threshold for those credit cards. But if you don't have an Amex, it's not the end of the world. It's just that it will require a little bit more of managing from your end. So you have to come to an agreement with your mom and with your son about the maximum amount of money that they're allowed to spend on the credit cards that you will be giving them. So it is very important that you know who you're giving that credit card to. If you don't think that your son or your daughter is at that age where they're responsible enough, or maybe you think they're too young to take on to a responsibility like that. So if that's the case, if you don't think they're ready to handle something like that yet, then you just simply add them to the account and you don't give them the credit card. You implement strategy one. But if you think they're at that age that they're ready, they can take on some responsibilities and you can teach them about credit, then you go ahead and you handle the credit cards. Same thing with your parents. You have to walk them through what's necessary, what's needed. And if you do need help with either or, feel free to send them over to our playlist so they can start watching those videos and get familiar with what it takes to keep a strong credit history, right? Now, back to the tablet. So we have $200 here and $200 on this side. Now we need to agree on a payment date. So let's say, for example, your car is due on 21st of every month, right? That's when you pay your credit card. But you don't want to wait until the 21st for those authorized users to give you the money. You ideally will want to receive the money a couple of days in advance so that way it can give you time to do proper planning, make the deposit into your account, whatever is it that you need to do in between to have the money ready in your bank account and pay them. So what I would do in your case is just to simply request these members to pay you on the 15th of every month. Right? So that way, whenever they use up to $200 or whenever your mom is using up to $200, you get their payment on the 15th, and then you gather all of your money and then you end up paying your credit card balance on time. So once again, it's going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of discipline, and lots of open communication. So that way everyone is well coordinated. Now, I want to take a moment to remind you that if you like this episode, feel free to hit the like button right here below so you can help this episode rank and help others like you looking for information of this kind. And if you happen to know somebody who will find this information useful, feel free to share the love and send this episode their way so you can help change their lives for the better. Back to the episode. Another thing I want to highlight is that each authorized user will be using your credit line. It's not that they're getting a credit line on their own. With that, I mean, it's not like whenever you add them, you're going to get 4,000 here, and then with their credit line is 4,200 and then 4,400. No, it doesn't work that way. The way it works is that you have $4,000. You're giving them access to 200 to your son, and then to your mom another 200. That means what you have left to spend on that car is a total of 3,600. So once again, it is a strategy that will require a lot of discipline, a lot of coordination in between. So that way, you know that your authorized user doesn't spend over the agreed limit between you two. And that way you still have enough budget on your credit card to take care of your expenses as well. Call it gas, call it grocery shopping and stuff like that, right? But once again, it is very important that you're working with someone who is responsible, because this is your credit on the line. Let's say you added someone as an authorized user to your credit card account, and this person decides to go rogue, right? And instead of spending the agreed $200, they end up spending all of your credit line, which in this case is $4,000. You're going to be in big trouble, because you are the one who's responsible for that debt, not the person who's authorized to use it. So that's why I keep emphasizing on the importance of doing this with someone who you know, or at least believe, can handle the responsibility of building good credit. If that person is not ready to do that and you still want to help them, just once again, back to strategy 1, and where you add them as authorized user and just simply don't give them the credit card and call it the end of the story, right? But again, although this strategy takes more work, it does create a win-win situation for everybody, because you are helping your loved ones, and at the same time, every amount of money that they spend on their car winds up helping you build your own credit history as well, and also allows you to get access to the purse, which is the points that they get to accumulate with their purchases. So all of those points will be going to you, in addition to building a strong credit on your own, because it is your credit at the end of the day. So you will definitely take care of it, right? So now, what are some of the requirements to be added as an authorized user? Well, first, you don't need to have a credit history, because the whole purpose of this exercise is to help them build their credit. So they don't need to have it. You need to have a good credit, but they don't, right? And there's no minimum age requirement, at least legally. However, each bank, it's free to set up their minimum age. So depending on the banking institution that you're working with, sometimes they can set their own guidelines as to how young a person can be to be added as an authorized user. In fact, I actually found this list here from Bankrate that I wanted to share. And again, keep in mind that this information can always change depending on where you're tuning in to the episode. But as of today, this is the information I was able to find out. So as you can see, each bank has their own guidelines. So for example, American Express has a minimum age requirement of 13 for a person to be added as an authorized user. But other banks like Bank of America, Citibank, Capital One, Chase, or Wells Fargo, they don't have a minimum age requirement. Discover, for example, has a minimum age requirement of 15, and then US Bank, 16 years old. So something to keep in mind that you want to double check with your lender before adding. But if you have any of the credit cards that there's no minimum age requirement, then you are pretty much set and helping your children be set on the right path. Because imagine this, imagine your son being 5 years old right now. And then by the time they got to college, they'll be 18 years old, right? So that means you help them build 13 years worth of credit history over time. I don't know about you, but I wish I had that head start when I was starting to build my credit, but I didn't have that choice. And now that you do have the choice, it is up to you to choose how you want to help your children, whether doing it the simple way or whether doing it in a way that, yeah, it will take some time, but hey, you're teaching them how to fish. Only you will know when they're ready. Now, I want to pause for a second and ask for your opinion. What do you think about what I'm sharing so far? Let me know down in the comment section below, and your comment will help me get to know you better, so that way I can design a much better episode that can meet your needs in terms of what you're looking to learn. Now, back to the episode. Now, moving along to the fun part. How do you add that authorized user into your credit card account? Very simple. The first way is just by simply calling the 1-800 number in the back of your car, and then you just request them to be added as authorized user. When you're on the phone, you call, you connect with them, and they're going to ask you for their name, social security, and birthday. This is typically not my favorite way to do this because you're kind of lending yourself to mistakes, right? Somebody can, mistype the information. Maybe the spelling comes out to be incorrect. Maybe the birthday comes out to be incorrect, or the social security. So in my case, I always prefer to do the add-on online directly from the credit card portal. And I'm going to show you how. All right, so now we are here on the credit card portal, and we're just simply going to go ahead and select a credit card, right? So I'm selecting this one, and you will see that a pop-up window comes up, and you're going to go straight to where it says more. Now, keep in mind that depending on your credit card portal, it might look different. This one is from Chase. So the reason why I'm doing this walkthrough is just to kind of give you an idea of where you can find that information. But once again, each credit card has a different way to set up, all right? So we're going to go down to more, and then we're going to go straight into account services. And then once you get account services, you're going to scroll down until you find a section where it says add an authorized user. And you're going to click on there, and voila. So here's the form for you to add the authorized user, as you can see here on the top. And then there are a couple of reminders here that Chase wants you to know, assuming Chase is your credit card. So once again, they're reminding you that this is a simple sign up with no credit checks required. Your authorized user will get their own credit card to make purchases and build credit, and you will get to enjoy the card benefits because with their purchases, the points are going to go to you, and you're the one that's going to, keep building them up. Another reminder here is that, once again, you're solely responsible for all balances on the account as the primary card member because it is your account. So once again, make sure that if you're going to do this and allow other people to use your credit cards, that they are responsible people. All right. And then there's also another reminder right here in case you have any Chase Sapphire Reserve or JP Morgan Reserve. Chase does charge you $75 for an annual fee for each additional authorized card. So if this is something you don't want to pay for, make sure you just simply pick a different credit card that has the same benefits in terms of helping them build credit, and that maybe allows you to build points as well, that doesn't require an additional fee to be paid, right? And then once you get that clear and understand them, just go ahead and get started. And it's just a simple form where they're going to ask you for the first name, the middle initial, last name, date of birth, and then you continue to hit next, next, next until everything has been filled out. And that is how you can help your children or loved one to build credit and give them a head start. While I still have you here, make sure you check out this playlist right here on the side, the one that I mentioned before, so you can complement everything you learned today, or you can use that information to teach your loved ones to build a stronger credit history. I'll see you in the next videos. Take care. Bye-bye.